Today is a great day of Navaratri. We are sitting on the cusp of the 6th and the 7th. 6th and the 7th is the day when Mahasaraswati finished her work and the incarnation of the Shakti itself started. So at 12 o'clock today, the Devi takes the Shakti upon herself. Of course, as you know, that Mahakali and Mahasaraswati both are the powers of Sri Sadashiva. Adishakti first formed herself into Mahakali, which is the power of desire. But all these powers are nothing but the power of God's love. So, in the series of this great love of God, Adishakti had to first become the power of desire. In the same way, Sahajyogis who are bestowed with this power of love have to have full desire in their heart. Desire to love. That desire is very different from the other kinds of human love we have known. In other kinds of human love, when we have relations with others, we have expectations, and that's why it is very disappointing. Our expectations always run higher than our understanding and realities. And so we suffer from disappointments and frustrations. And the love that has to be nourishing and fulfilling becomes a thankless job. So when it reflects in the human beings, it is the desire to be loved by everyone, not to love others. Everyone should love you, but how far you love another is the point. Naturally, everyone for oneself, so really nobody loves. But when it comes to real love, then sacrifice becomes a nature. You don't call it a sacrifice, but you call it a privilege. You say it's privilege to give love. It's a great chance that we can love. It's our great fortune that we can love. It's God's blessings that we can love and give. So the giving starts when you realize, not understand, but realize the love, the power of love. That's the third power which starts expressing. Because after this, a person becomes active, creative. That's how the action of achieving that state of giving love starts. To begin with, we start activating in so many ways. As I said, we start expecting and thinking that we are loving others. We act for that. In that madness that others should love us, others should respect us, others should think we are great, they should recognize us. we start loving something else which is not so important. So we go on first to money. Money becomes a very important. We think that if you have money, people will love us. You become very powerful as money. Money people, as rich people. So we start accumulating money. We start loving the money. But money is not the truth. We don't love the truth. When we start loving the money, we start thinking about problems of money. Such people can become miserly to such an extent that even towards God they become miserly. They never have money actually, because if you cannot spend your money, you have no money. If it is not available, what's the use of having all the money? That's how they have problems, because they love money and not the God Almighty. They're worried about money, but not about the truth. Then with that, they go to a second thing. It's the power. They want to have the power. They want to become presidents, ministers, and bureaucrats and all that. They want to have the power. They think by having great power, people will respect them and love them. But they get drowned in fear. What they get is fear. All the time, they have fear. Also, many people have fear. That's why in the Bible it is said that wages of sin is fear. What is sin? Sin is not to love the truth, is the sin. When you don't love the truth, then it is sin. So when you start getting worried about your positions, like the president feels that he loses his job, the vice president thinks that he'll be sacked, the prime minister thinks he may not be elected, the bureaucrats think they will lose their jobs, they won't get promotions or something. There will be problem. All these people are suffering from terrible sense of fear. They have no freedom of any kind. And in that category, people just go down so much with fear. They are even worse than people with money. Because once they are lost, they are lost. They can never revive. No chance. Once you lose the election, you are lost. Nobody is going to look at you. I have known people who have been at a very high position, and once they lose that position, nobody looks at them. They just walk like straight. Otherwise, there will be at least 100 cars to receive them. And once they lose their jobs, there's nobody even to look at them. They just walk like ordinary. Even seeing all these things happen, this truth, just coming before them so clearly, they do not keep to that truth. They do not realize that truth. They do not have that realization within them. They understand for a while and they go after it. Then, when the person dies, they see a moneyed man, a rich man is forgotten. Nobody is bothered about them. Who was the rich man? On the contrary, the people, the prime ministers and all those high-ranking people, when they die, immediately books start coming out about their private life, all the dirty things they did, and all the horrible things they did, and what sort of a life they led. There's no fragrance in their life, no idealism, nothing. Because responsibility that they have to the public and to themselves, they have not understood it. And they made a mess of their private life. That's why this kind of a reaction comes after that. The other day I was reading an interview with a very well-known actor. He's a born realized fellow, I know, but he's gone down completely. He says, I think, what's the harm in drinking? What's the harm in gambling? What's the harm in smoking? Because after all, I'm going to die. And then who is going to bother? Supposing I get cancer, so what? In any case, I'm going to die. So why not enjoy these pleasures of life? But what about death? You continue. Then all that you've been doing will come out. And people will not like to have your photograph in the household. Children will spit at you. What about that? Your life is not what it is today for 3, 4 years or 10 years or 15 years of your so-called success. But when you die, all this craziness will disappear. And people will come out with truth about it. That is how this power to be popular finishes. This cheap popularity, this cheap type of treatment towards yourself gives you a personality that will not be worshipped, that will not be accepted. Nobody will go to buy something great. For some time it will continue. But in totality, such a person has given nothing to humanity. That's how the power of Saraswati works. People go into action for achieving results of getting into power. But it should act to discover the truth. Saraswati should give you the lead to find out the truth. That when you act in those funny places and streets, you discover this is not the path. We have missed it. The path is somewhere else. We've lost it. Let us find out the real path because this doesn't give joy. This one can learn from others, from history, from so many other things, and from your own parents, from your society, and from yourself, and from your children also. If you want to learn, that is the quality of Saraswati Pujaris, that they take to Jnana, they take to reality. Vedas, in the beginning of the Vedas, it said that if by reading these 4 Vedas, if you do not get the Veda, Veda is the knowledge on your nerves, means realization. There is no use reading these Vedas. So the Saraswati's first step is that through the reading, through the process of Saraswati's manifestation, you must reach a point to understand that this is a rat race and we have to get out. We have to stand. When that happens, then the Mahalakshmi Tattva starts working in you. That is the third Tattva, which starts working. Mahalakshmi Tattva then starts expressing its love in its full extent through evolutionary process in human beings. He starts evolving simultaneously. He sees on both the sides what's happening like a witness, and he uses his Mahalakshmi. In the first part of the Mahalakshmi power, he starts getting out of the common rut of the family bondages and the other human bondages of power, money, lust. And he starts moving on a higher plane. He gives us a new idea of popularity by establishing the truth. Because through Mahalakshmi power, you discover the truth on your central nervous system, and ultimately it is the light of an enlightened brain. When the Mahalakshmi power starts manifesting, one starts thinking of others, not on material level. That materially people are suffering now. There are people in Ethiopia who say we must give them some food, this, that. No, they go to the roots of the problems. Why? Or they don't think there should be equal distribution of money and wealth. No, this is superficial. Because wherever it is done, people are not happy. They feel they have no freedom. Those people who have money are not happy because they have a demonic life where they are free. They behave like devils. No sense of totality, no sense of collectivity. When they become like that, they even do not realize that they have become demonic. Everything becomes like a big martyr. They fight for lands, they fight for nations, they fight for rights, and they do all kinds of horrible things. Start destroying people, uh, human beings. All the turmoil of today is the effect of mostly in the West and also all the Arabic countries, I would say, is of the right side. And in the East, it is of the left side, the turmoils. It's very surprising that where it's very contrasting also. It's a funny dilemma for me. Not, I can't understand it sometimes. That where they are so particular about the chastity, they become, when they are so much worried about chastity and everything, that they should have problem of the left side. They do puja, they are shraddha, they are like Catholics, we can say, are never rich people. You seldom, except in New Switzerland. I think here everybody is rich because they are so money oriented. So, or the people where they are right sided, where they neglect their chastity, not bothered about the right side, they have the problems of the right side. It's very surprising. The reason is where they look after the chastity part, they go too much into it. Now, supposing a person is doing a puja, he just goes on doing puja, morning till evening, without any activity. Very easy to do puja, isn't it? Just come down, somebody does puja for you, get the vibrations, nicely blessed, go. Nothing to be done. No activity. So there is no balance. So they do puja and they think, oh, they have done very well. No. If you are a right-sided person, then puja will help you, but not if you are a left-sided person. Puja does help. Of course, my puja will help. no doubt, in both the sides, because I am neither left nor right, nor anywhere. So the puja part, when they do, supposing a man is doing a puja to a devi. In India, they take a great courage to do puja to a devi. You do not know that. Saptasati that we have, that thing the people do, they get possessed. They can't understand. First of all, they have a statue of someone made by some horrible fellow. When they do the puja of that goddess, they are God fearing, everything is good. We have got temples where there are also, we can say, swambhus from the Mother Earth, which are worshipped and should be alright, but no, they get possessed. Why? Because most of them, these temples are haunted by or haunted by spirits. Because they do all kinds of tantric things there. And when people go and do the pujas there, what happens to them? That they get attacked. They become more left side. Now the Muslims and others who believe in a God which is Nirakar, which is formless, they go to the right side. It's formless God. It's nice. Formless, everywhere is God. In me, in you, everyone, there is God. Everybody is God. Even if you are a devil, you are God. There's nothing wrong with anyone. Everybody is God. Starts on that principle. So they go on to supraconscious side. And they become demonic. Then they must fight because they are devils. Devils have to fight, otherwise, how will they exist? They fight, they aggress, they go to other countries, aggress them, capture them. All the time they are thinking of aggressing others. In a subtler way they aggress. Nowadays the media is aggressive in the West. There are so many ways of aggression, and to them aggression is something is very dharmic. For anything. They'll ask direct questions, arrogant, insulting, and cruel. They become cruel. That's how the turmoil starts when we start using the power of Saraswati in a wrong way or the power of Mahakali in the wrong way. That's why in Sahaj Yoga, before the puja, you have to go into a lot of activity. You have to decorate the hall, you have to get the flowers, you have to organize everything beautifully. Look at the roses, how beautiful they are. Then you start balancing yourself with all these activities you do. And then you sit down for puja. That's like in the daytime you work, in the night you sleep. To rest, to get the bliss, you must be active. Like they had to climb Himalayas to achieve meditation. Because when you are tired, you can be restful afterwards. Otherwise, if you get somebody, say, from Switzerland only, a very speedy person for meditation, you'll have to put the glue on it to settle down because you'll be frantic, all the time. You'll be all the time jumping. So the activity has to come before the puja. The balance has to be done. So the ladies have to find out the saris and the blouses and this and that. And they have to worry about putting your flowers, arranging things, this, that. A lot of activities. You have to travel. For English, it was necessary to travel all the way from England to arrange their money and rooms and everything to come here. To go to futuristic side, to think what they are going to pay, how they are going to pay back their rooms. All this futuristic planning they have to do before they come to Switzerland. Switzerland being the most active place, it's better to have the puja here, so they are not so much active. That's how the Devi arranges everything. So the ascent starts evolving. In that, the play of the Devi is the Navaratri. In your ascent. From ages, Navaratri, that's why, is the most important puja. In Sahaja, Navaratri is the most important puja. Though we can say modern Sahaja, Sahasrara is because that's how you started getting your realization. But if you go to the whole historical events of evolution, you'll find Navaratri is the one which has brought you to Sahasrara. Without the help of the Devi at different stages of your ascent, you could not have been in a position to receive your realization. So all the steps that you took in the past are today worshipped and are used for thanking the Devi for what she did to bring you down. So it's like a thanksgiving. Without her work, nothing could have happened. So when we read about the Devi, about her incarnations, how she came on this earth to save her bhaktas, people who are trying to ascend to cross this Bhavasagara, how she worked hard, how she fought the devils, how she killed the demons, single-handed. She took upon herself the responsibility of making the people cross the Bhavasagara. Guru gave you the strength of dharma, but she's the one who brought you out. Even those who were dharma could not do it because of the demonic pressure. She's the one who fought single-handed with her powers of destruction. In her love for you, she fought. She brought you to this land. And then she took a mind and form of incarnation. Even during the time of all the gurus, she took the form of, as you know, Janaki was the daughter of Janaka. Then Fatima was the daughter of Muhammad Shah. And Nanaki was the sister of Nanaka. In those forms, these powers sustained and nourished the Guru Tattva. And later on, or sometimes simultaneously, they incarnated in milder forms to help human beings to rise. So today is the day of thanksgiving. As Guru Puja is a day of thanksgiving to your Guru, the one who has counseled you, the one who has told you about the truth, the one who has taught you the truth and has given you realization. And the Devi Puja is a thanksgiving where single-handed, just like a very loving mother, under her sari, she protected you, fought for you, fought with every enemy that is around. Every sword of problems that existed and ultimately brought you to Sahasrara level and then gave you realization. It's a real thanksgiving to the mother. So we can say Navaratri is like a Mother's Day, where you give thanksgiving to her, which was just relentless, continuous working for her children.